Alrighty, hey guys. I have a pretty bad cold, so I hope that doesn't bother you. Alright guys, I have a bad cold today, and I'm letting my dogs hang out with me because I haven't been able to get them out to the dog park or anything, and so they've been a little cooped up, so they've been real loving today. Hold on guys. Okay. Hey guys, January 2nd, 2019. I'm here today with my dogs. I haven't been able to get them out to the dog park and they've been all riled up, so I wanted to get a quick video in before I go. I slept in and this cold has just kind of beat me up a little bit. But this video, you need to copy, you need to copy, you need to copy this video. Why? Because this video is going to be the best one I've given you so far as specifics of tricks they're using to come against you. Look outside. And so this is going to be specific tricks they're using to come against you and the tools and tactics of doing that. Copy this video. This is going to be incredibly important to everybody out there that's going through gang stalking and isn't understanding how they're doing it, the nature of it and such. And I'm going to expose that right now. I promise you, copy this video. Please go on YouTube. They have free software, how to copy YouTube videos. Boom, copy it, have a copy, share this. If you're on Facebook groups, share this. This one's extremely important, and I'm going to get exactly right to the point. The one thing I'll tell you is I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I am non-denominational. There's no church that I claim. There's no denomination I claim. I'm a Holy Spirit-filled, born-again follower of Jesus Christ. My Bible tells me that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should never perish but have everlasting life. I'm not going to go into any more Christianity. In the comments section, somebody was trying to say and discredit people like myself as Salvation Army soldiers, because what you need is, you know, if you're hurting and you need somebody to pray for you and get out there, the Salvation Army areas in the entire world. I don't work for Salvation Army. A Salvation Army soldier is a selfless person who has given their life to Jesus Christ. They're following Jesus Christ. They're preaching and proclaiming the gospel message of Jesus Christ proudly and unashamed, as I do. In the messages, they were just trying to discredit me and other people, Salvation Army soldiers. I don't speak for the Salvation Army business. Don't care about that at all. I don't want any part of that. I don't care about any business aspects, anything. I'm talking about the Salvation Army soldiers, the men and women, my brothers and sisters in Christ who have given their lives to Jesus Christ, to helping and serving you. Anything I've ever done in the ministry, I've never accepted one single penny in my life for doing so. I have the ability now to put together an internet radio program and some different things. I don't have the money to do it. So what did I do? I put up a website as fast as I could, and now I'm going to take a mortgage to start a ministry for each and every one of you. Whether you believe in Christ, this doesn't matter. If you're a person that's a target of gang stalking, victim of abuse, any type of abuse whatsoever, I love you, God loves you, and I serve you, and this is for you, okay? So, why I say that is somebody was putting messages, oh, the Salvation Army is in with the Mormons and they're doing this stuff themselves and blah, blah, blah. That's not true, and why would I be doing this? I'm here to serve you, and that's not true and will never be true. Like I said, I'm talking about the Salvation Army soldiers, the men and women of the ministry. No one else, nothing else. That's who I'm referring to. So, all the isms. Mormonism has nothing to do with me. Catholicism, nothing to do with me. Adventism, Seventh-day Adventism, nothing to do with me. I want nothing to do with any denominations. I serve Jesus Christ of the Holy Bible. That's who I serve, and that's who that I will always serve. So, so I just want to get that clear right off the bat. Okay. Now, there's no more Christian things, whatever. This is right to the point. You need to copy this, share this on your Facebook groups and all different groups that you can have a copy of this in case it gets deleted or in case I get deleted. So, here we go. And I want to tell you, I've never been happier in my entire life, and I'm very proud to be able to serve you and to speak and proudly proclaim my faith and things. So I appreciate that. If you ever did want to know anything about that, just ask me personally. Everything is intended to be like deception and a magic trick where something is occurring, but you don't know how or why. Saying things to you as people pass by directly at you that they would only know from intimate knowledge of surveillance, phone conversations, and things recently that you've had. That's, one tactic very common. When they enter your house and use psychological tactics while you're away, they use the community snitches, the informant snitches, the paid confidential informant snitches, and police to report your local, your location visually, as to make sure you can't find out that they are in your house, are doing things to your house or outside of your house. So what I mean by that is they don't just depend on electronic surveillance, GPSing your phone, your car, and different things like this. They always have physical eyes on you, so there's no way that you can find out what they're doing. And if you were to the point where you were going to go out to your car and they were in the operation of going against that, targeting it like mine did, like to cut the steering wheel, they put somebody in front of you to distract you. Hey, do you know how to get here, there? And they would hinder you from doing that. So there's several layers in place so that by the time they get to the second layer of protection, so they won't be exposed for doing this, they already have 3 more layers, and at the second protection, they already have a pretty much 100% probability that the person won't be able to expose them. So then it goes well beyond that. These are professional people. These are not idiots. Let's see. For me, they'd like to, when they'd enter my house or do different things in psychological operations, anytime I'd leave, they'd leave garbage in front of my house every single time I'd leave. That way, then if you said to someone too that like people are doing that or reported that, they'd say you're crazy and that garbage blows in the wind and that's a coincidence and you're a nut job. Okay, they will always use the community snitches, confidential informant snitches, first responders, paramedics, fire department, and police. So there's a network of people, so they never run out of people, so they use the appropriate people for the appropriate situations, areas, and locations that you're at. So if you're at the gym, they're going to have somebody go into the gym that works out to watch you and things, so that then when you leave, they've already slandered to the manager and everybody else, the trainers and things about you to that gym. So when you leave, these snitches will tell who you made contact with so they can approach them and tell them the slander and lies against you also. So depending on where you're at and who's available, there's no shortage of these individuals to commit these felonies, as the misused law enforcement tools and state tools and government surveillance tools are being feloniously used against you, the gang-stalked victim, targeted individual, etc. When you're at a gym, let's say example, I already talked about that. They talk to the managers, employees, and everybody to slander you. Okay. So that's why you might understand too that you go to talk to somebody, you have a good conversation, you think, oh, this is a nice guy, and next time you talk to him, you can tell something's off and that they've been approached and talked to about you. Your neighborhood, they go around and talk to slander to all your neighbors about you, organized as a felony. They will always pay to set up surveillance as close to you as they can, and your house will have video and audio surveillance inside. I used to be an electrical lineman, and they would use fake transformers to surveil like drug dealers and people like that in the areas. And a lineman like myself would have came and gone up to the pole and put a fake transformer and even hooked it up to the power so it looks like it's real, but the connections inside are not connected. So, or they could actually connect like a light to it to make it look good too. There was different options of ways to do that. And then it had, video surveillance inside it for the police. Stingray is their favorite tool used to intercept all communications in your areas. It is acting as a fake cell phone tower. So whether you're streaming a Roku or doing this or that or whatever, all of that communication, all that information and all those things go in there. So all you have to do is Google Stingray. It's a tool that's being used in surveillance, completely a tool being abused. And many people and privacy experts and stuff have gone against this because of the misuse and the probability and possibility of this surveilling people illegally like us. Your electronics are completely compromised in relaying all information you send, like computers, malware, surveillance programs installed, the phones and everything are the same thing. They would enter my home, and then when I would come home, they would already be inside or my garage. So let's say I came home, parked in the garage, put the garage door down. they've already entered, and then they would cut notches in my steering wheel and do different things and break things and put things out of place. So then I would be inside my home, and there was no windows in like my garage doors and things. So then I would be home. They have full access to knowing where I'm at in the house, what I'm doing in the house, and all this is relayed back and forth. They accomplish their objective there, and then next time I go out to my car, I don't know from that time frame if I come out 8 hours later. Then you have people frantically trying to look at their DVR system and stuff, and everything is set up to expose these. My cameras have been broken, turned, and then you'd see blotchy like figures and things that there was different ways that they'd use to get rid of that. A lot of times though, if they did go do something, they can erase that portion. You don't know when it happened. You fast forward on your DVR and things are done very quick strategically, and it's difficult to find, but a lot of times it'll be completely wiped. So they're not perfect at all, and the thing is, when they're not using professionals and some of these dummies that are confidential informants and things, that's where they're not professional enough that you'll be able to notice a pattern. It took me a long time to figure out some of these things. You know, I would drive specifically in the right lane all the time and turn right when I was in the right lane to watch how different surveillance vehicles and things would follow me and their own patterns, so that then I could mix it up a little bit, go into stores, and when I would normally not use airplane mode, put it on airplane mode, or I'd use airplane mode a lot so they wouldn't know when I was going to use airplane mode, so they couldn't catch up with certain things. And I found that you can outwit them. It's not incredibly hard to do, but because of the psychological parts, and you have no idea that this is coming at you, the majority of all individuals won't be able to do that. So this information is going to be highly important to them. Copy this video, share this video with your targeted individuals and different gang stalking groups, please. You know, so example, okay, so I'd go out grocery shopping and I'd have multiple bags. They already know that I can only carry so many bags in. I'd have to leave my house, go back out to the car, get some more bags, come back into the house. Come into the house with the first set of bags, everything's fine, set them right on my counter, go back out to get another set. They were already inside my house, turn on the heat on my burner of my stove. They love doing that all the time. So I'd leave and come back and hear my burner is white on, so I have a burner with a flame on my gas stove, and they would do that a lot too as a psychological thing, letting them know that they're in your house and they're messing with you and that they owned all of your privacy areas. One thing, so I don't forget, I forgot to write down, but I had a room in my house where I would put a lock on, and I would put money, because they were stealing money from my house too. So I, if I had $100 in my wallet, it wasn't uncommon then that some of these confidential informants would steal $40 or something out of there. It's always in smaller ways and smaller increments, so that if you report it, it sounds like a nut job. Oh, they didn't take all your money? Are you sure you didn't borrow somebody something, or something you bought that you forgot about? So it's always intended to do that. So my room specifically, I would go, I would go and go different areas. My dog's in here with me. So I would go to different areas and go to do different things. And in my room, like I said, from getting my money stolen, I would put a padlock. I put hinges inside a door and a padlock on to try and protect my money from being stolen. What they would do is, there's a place, I won't give the exact name, but it's a lock and key shop in Rochester, Minnesota. So the owner of the lock and key shop, they're already friends with, because when they do, law enforcement does wellness checks on people and stuff. If they don't answer the door, they get a locksmith. Locksmith goes in, and sometimes if somebody has passed away, then they can do the proper things to deal with that. So the locksmiths, any lock you have, they have full access to these guys. So another part of the felony organized harassment of me was to have the lock and key shop from Rochester, Minnesota come into my room and break the locks and do certain things to show that they could get in and mess with things. If you have a safe and different things like that, there's going to be numbers on the outside of the safe on stickers. Law enforcement can actually call into the safe companies and other people. Hey, I've got this code, I'm detective blah blah blah, give his credentials. They give them those numbers, and then they have the combination or the key code to get into that safe. So you have to remember that. So peel the stickers off and stuff, and don't leave passwords and things readily around. Excuse me, I have a cold. But the passwords and things like this, don't drive yourself nuts, because they already have all the tools. You're talking about professionals and people that have access to the law enforcement, that has access to NSA tools and different things. These are the smartest people in the world. as an example, the cryptos, I've actually tried to crack this stupid thing. They have this guy put this monument up, and it's called Cryptos, and it's a cryptography and different things like that. If you don't know what that is, it's trying to solve algorithms and different ways that messages were embedded within certain things to decipher them. So back in the war, they'd use different machines and stuff. So in intelligence, this thing is huge. I've tried to crack this several times. Somebody came up with a a computer program that had algorithms that would run through to crack this, and they actually broke some of the parts of that and have revealed that. But the whole thing, worldwide, at the CIA, it's called Cryptos, has not been broken. So you think of every agency and all the intelligence in this entire world, that man was smart enough to put that together to stump everybody in the entire world. So he's a brilliant man, and I am going to solve that someday. So anyways, that's kind of, I geek out to stuff like that sometimes because I enjoy that. So let's see. You know, they would do these different random things, so you knew that they were inside your house, but if you called up, you sounded like a nut job. If you called the police, you sounded like a nut job. Nobody's going to admit to it because the police themselves are doing that. So they put like things in the fish tank that weren't normally in the fish tank. They'd rearrange things in the fish tank or flip things over in the fish tank that it's impossible that the fish could have flipped over. Just little subtle things to mess with your mind continually and constantly. And all kinds of things. If they wanted to mess with somebody, for example, if every time you left your house they went and took a can of pop out of your fridge and set it down on its side on your table and did that continually over and over and over, and then you take a trip to Canada, you take a trip to California, wherever, you know, a different state, they just call ahead to the other dirty law enforcement and they tell them to do the same thing. So then those people, with all the access to the locksmiths, the different people, they can get into any houses, any cars, any vehicles, anything. They'd go to your hotel room and take the pop that was the same brand of pop and everything and place it on your table. So when you get back to the hotel, you see it there, terror comes upon you, and it psychologically breaks you down. These are sick, sick, sick individuals. Family members, roommates, children, and like best friends, and paid, the people that are paid assisting some of these operations, people that love you don't know that they're trying to kill you through this or make you crazy to cause you to harm yourself, okay? They don't know the extent of this program that can easily be tracked by all the individuals that are gang-stalked and how many of them have committed suicide or magically been murdered. There's a pattern here to be exposed, and somebody will in Jesus' name. These other people that are doing it are thinking it's a joke. So like my daughter would let other people that they would introduce into her, like friends and people her age and people like, hey, do you mind if we come over? They could come in the house through her bedroom window or, any different ways. If I'm awake, there's no alarms or anything, they could let them in through the door. And they could play games and just go in the house like they're trying to be friends and actually move some things around and do the specific parts of the psychological operation to cause harm to your well-being and your mind and your health. And so that's another thing they use. Excuse me, this cold is kicking my butt. So many times when they do these things in your house or garage to enter without being surveilled, or to mess with you when you get home as they're already waiting there. In my case, they would already be in the garage to do different things against my car and different things. And people would already be in the house. So like I said, I'd take the groceries out to the car. They already know the patterns and things, and this is a professional system of what they're doing. It's strategic and targeted, and there's different ways and probabilities that they would most commonly use to do this, to give the best way to come against you, to psychologically harm you, and it's a very specific program. That's why you're going to see some of these same tools that are happening to me happen around the world, because they're using this and it's such an effective program. They stick to the program's guidelines. So they use surveillance tools, and it takes a little while at first when they start out to really figure out your sleeping patterns with certainty. Like for me, I'd be studied for a long time and surveilled and things. And then for me, they knew specifically that if I was grinding my teeth while I was sleeping, I was in a very deep sleep, and that would be a good time to enter, have cover noise or whatever, and do different psychological operations, and also do damage to things, or to compromise your phone or your electronic equipment and things. And this is nothing new. You know, if you're a high-level target, and this was actually like from somebody that was very important, it's very similar. My car felony gang stalk, the felony gang stalking against me with my car is every time I would leave the vehicle, the snitches would follow me inside a store. So they always have visual eyes on you, and then they have the other people organized to carry out the operation. So, you know, if I went into a gas station, they'd make sure that visually I could not see my car from that point, and that would be relayed back to the other person. They would go into the car and cut the steering wheel and this and that. They're not dumb, so if there is ways and cameras and things where they could get caught, they could have somebody that has already talked to the people in the gas station, the manager and stuff, because they go around and slander you to the entire community, to all areas that you go to and stuff. So this is already planned. They're not dumb. There's several layers against you finding out what's occurring against you. It would be even simple for a way to do different things with, you know, like inside your house. Let's say they wanted to mess with you, and you had the best security system with motion sensors and things. There's a trail on me from Simply Safe is my alarm system, and they're not that great or anything, but I don't have a ton of money, and I use them. And the motion sensors are effective, but there's many times that Simply Safe would call me up, many times. Oh, hey, we have a motion sensor set off, and I knew where all the motion sensors were, and which ones would go off and things. So they would call me up, and then I'd say, no, everything's fine. But there were several times that I said, yeah, you know, I wanted to get documented that people are messing with my house and harassing me and things. So, you know, there's a list and a link and a paperwork trail and electronic trail of, and emails, when they send emails and texts and different things, of me leaving my house, and magically my motion sensors are being set up before I ever had any animals, after I had animals, you know, this and that. I'm not a moron. And so, you know, another thing too is, even if you left, they have visual eyes on you, you're far enough away from the house. Even if they know they're going to set off a motion sensor, they will still go in quickly, do what they need to do, and then come out. And you can't make it home by that time. You're surveilled the whole time. There's eyes on you. So it's very easy when you have a network of people, and you know, the police and all these different people. The police are the main people who would be, you know, eyes on the target, out and about. And also they are in the public to not just be after you, obviously. So when they need to use them, they can just go about their business like they're doing everything they would normally do. So let's see. Okay, so everywhere I went, they'd cut my steering wheel. You know, they've killed animals, done all kinds of things, break glass, steal from me, steal money. You know, I've talked about that in the other videos. So totally outside of any of these programs and ways of surveillance. This is sick, this is sadistic, and it's, you could call it satanic bullying also. These people are really out of whack. So if you went to a gas station, I told you that you'd be followed, field of view. So if you went to Walmart and other places with camera systems, Walmart will not let the public go and look at the camera system. So all they have to say is, oh, we're sorry, that camera didn't have that angle, this and that, and whatever, and they already lie. The police and the people that are in Walmart security, all the floor walkers and in the main stores, these people that generally work security, they want to be cops, and a lot of times they're out at the college to be cops. And some of these people they've used against me. And what they do is, when they do that, they already have a relationship, and these security guards so bad want to be a police officer, so they go in and they practically you know, will do anything they say. So there's no chance that Walmart is ever going to give you surveillance footage of what occurred to your vehicle, unless like you were out in the parking lot and you actually died out there. Then, well, still nobody can ever see that footage before the police and things like that. So I mean, while you're alive and being gang stalked, you're not going to have a chance at Walmart to come forward. I actually spoke to a lady too on the phone, where they would you know, smash carts into her car and things like that. She would go inside to get that checked out and stuff, and she could see the people that would, you know, when she would go to try and check on this, the kind of ways they would work and approach her and things, find out what's going on, and then the people would magically never have anything on camera, and they were tormenting her that way. Your sleep patterns, your driving patterns, your life patterns, your schedules, your work, home, school, everything is taken to the best psychologically way to destroy your mind and make you look crazy. So the probabilities, the algorithms, all your movements, all these things are calculated. And it's so sick, but that's how they are best at doing their job, and they do their job very well because they're professionals. These aren't idiots, so you have to think outside the box. There will always be a paper trail of the paid people, though, that are doing this, and that's the weak link to the system, is some of the confidential informants and things. They're little drug addicts, and they're not so bright, so those are the easiest to identify. If, the government was, monitoring people like mob bosses and things like this, obviously they're not going to be noticed. They're the best of the best at doing what they do to take down racketeering and big organizations like that and gang networks and stuff. So just understand, when this is being this blatantly obvious, it's on purpose of what they're doing. If people kill themselves, they go to people that were used by them, not knowing that they were actually part of the abuse coming against these people and the psychological warfare and the gang stalking. But these people would be cooperating with them like family members and different people, unfortunately. And those people were thinking they were actually helping their loved ones because of the lies and slander that the police would put upon the person that they are gang stalking. The cops always say, oh, we're really sorry to hear, that he had died and blah, blah, blah. But, it was really good that you guys helped be a part of keeping an eye on him so he didn't go and hurt other people. Obviously, he was crazy. That's why he's taken his own life. Okay? Sick people that should be so ashamed. This is beyond evil. Okay. An Apple iPhone I'll speak of because that's what I use. I'm recording with an iPhone 10 right now. The Apple iPhone, if you call Apple Care and other people, with your iCloud account, and if you're hooked onto the Wi-Fi network, they can actually see everything on your phone to help you repair it and do different functions of your phone. So real time they can see that. So it's very easy, and that access they have is the easiest access. But with the Stingray and NSA programs and stuff like this, you're never going to get a way to secure your cell phone. Just understand that. With an Apple iPhone, the best way you could do is, what you would do is you'd take your phone, you would go to iTunes on a computer that's not compromised. You would download iTunes, verify the update, and the system restores. So you'd restore like totally erase and restore that. And then after you do that, you would not use an iCloud account. You would not download any apps or anything like that. And then they would only have the basics of the functions of that phone. So it's taking a really good phone, although that phone could have already been compromised and setting up Bluetooth and different signals and things for GPS location and triangulation and tracking and things like that. So the phone, unless your best way would be to go back to keep a smartphone at home to keep your social life, all your things you need to do. But if you wanted to leave somewhere, if you took a little flip phone and you pull the battery out, it'll drive them nuts. Now they have to work for their money and actually enter the stores, and the GPS won't line up as good. So like for me, that use ambulance, fire departments, and different people to mess with me and gang stalk me at times. Not always, different types of people and tools they would use to do this. But they would coordinate, so they would magically appear at certain times, like when I'd go out in front of my house and they could flip me off, or they could do that continually. They'd wait on the side street, the GPS of your phone, GPS on your car, video surveillance from across the road is so easy, and everything streams live nowadays and stuff. And the fast internet networks, 4G, LTE, and all these things, everything's fast. So they would know, okay, here we go, he's coming down the driveway, so they know everything's timed, and it's very easy to drive out and drive right in front of you to look like, they've been watching you on top of you the whole time. These guys are really idiots. I mean, you got to be a little brighter than that, at least a little more professional. A guy like myself should have never been able to catch on to so many of these things. And what I'm exposing on camera isn't obviously even close to everything, because I can't give everything out on camera and reveal certain secrets. I do want this to end in Jesus' name, and that's the point of all these videos and what, you know, you out there suffering. I'm so very sorry that this illegal, felonious targeting of you, this gang stalking, these felonies committed against you, you know, you don't deserve this, and I mean that, and I'm going to fight for you the best I can. So with the phone, like I said, let's see. All electronics you have can and will be compromised. Don't go spend a bunch of money on different phones and this and that, and grab another computer and this one and take it to somebody to repair and blah, blah, blah. They have all tools to do that. In my case, they would even go to the manager of the bank, check my safe deposit box out. So there's nothing they can't get into. So if you go get a safe deposit box at the bank, the sheriff's department walks in, boom, 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 they can look right inside that. They can easily get warrants to do this legally and in certain ways. So they have all the tools and tactics to do this in the smear campaign, and the reason you're even on the list and targeted sometimes. Some people are doing just because it's sadistic revenge against them, like myself, for turning in a dirty cop. And some people, who knows, maybe they just, you know, really get off and enjoy this, so they throw somebody else on the list. But usually there's a reason why somebody is being targeted. Or like somebody else in their family might have done something wrong and they're paying the price for that. So all electronics you have will be compromised, so don't, you know, go nuts trying to think if you get enough fun. It's not going to work. It's not going to help. Changing iCloud accounts, Gmail accounts, not using Google as a web browser do help a tiny little bit. But like I said, you know, that stuff is exhausting, and to re-put your contacts on phones and do different things, it's more work than it's going to be help. If you're making a phone call and that's going out, you can be tracked. If you're streaming something at your house, that can be tracked. They already know your internet, your IP, and everything is tracked anyway. So don't go crazy trying to do things and spend money where you shouldn't. And I have myself. Let's see. When you're out shopping too, like let's say you go out shopping to buy a hidden camera, or you go online to buy a hidden camera off Amazon or one of these places, you're already fully surveilled. They know that, and they coordinate against that. If you're out at Walmart shopping, the gang stalkers, the confidential informants, and the other community police wannabe retards that are doing this, they will go by and look in your cart and watch the items of your cart. This is nothing new. If you pay with a debit card, whatever, that shows up also. So that's pointless. But I'm going to give you in a second an idea of what does work with cameras and things. So they know what you're buying. They know what you eat. They know when you sleep, how many hours you sleep, how well you sleep, your deepest sleep, your driving patterns. All these things are calculated. Okay, protecting yourself at night is the most important, and one thing to do is if you have motion sensors, that's many ways that I've busted people. But like I said, they always have an exit, so even, you know, like I woke up one time at night and they were in the house, and immediately it takes you a second to get out of bed and stuff, and boom, they were gone out the back door. The door wasn't closed all the way and it was unlocked. And there was actually a way, I didn't realize at that time, they rigged up the back part of, there was a plexiglass window where it could be pushed out and easily just reached in and the door unlocked and stuff. So there's going to be different entry points and different ways they do that. These are professionals. The idiots doing a lot of it aren't professionals, obviously, but because they have full access of your house, they go through your house. You know, this is organized where they'll go through your entire house with a video camera. Every inch, every cupboard, every closet, every area. So it's like hiding in plain sight. It's like a magician. They're doing things that you can't figure out how or why they're doing it. It's already calculated. You know, these things are specific in targeting, and they're very effective. So they know in your house that you rarely go upstairs into this closet, okay? So if in an entire year you've only gone into that closet one time or never, where do you think that, you know, you can put different things, or you can mess with somebody, or be inside yourself? They have every bit of technology to even, you know, like firemen and stuff use things infrared and stuff. So like if somebody wanted to see if I was in this room and I had a hostage, they can obviously infrared and many tools, but I'm just saying the most basic crude of them, they can see infrared and see the individuals in there, like what firemen would use to go through and look for individuals in a fire and stuff. Okay. Okay, the operations most effective for them is when you're asleep. So that's a late part of the night, and when they calculate that you're asleep the best. So if they're going to come into the house, if you reset your phone on iTunes and have that totally wiped and different things like that, they don't want that like that. To have physical access is the best. My dogs are in here. So they would, that's when they would enter a home if they wanted to play some games, psychological operations, move things around and compromise electronics and things like that. And they already know your patterns and certain things, and when they do that, there's different things in place and set up so that they cannot get caught in every angle in case they are, compromised while inside your house. They deal with it according to the situation. So if you have animals, the alarm system motion sensor is obviously going to be more difficult, so you'd have to set things up certain ways. I have a doggy door, so I let my dogs go out inside to the bathroom and stuff. But if you don't and your animal's good and can go the whole night without using the bathroom, you'd want to be inside your room, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But that way you can set up some motion sensors and different things. The most extreme measures of this, your door to your bedroom, the hinges should be on the inside with the lock, preferably a combination lock. If you're super ultra paranoid, you put 2 combination locks. The security camera, you absolutely have to have sound front and back of the house and inside the house. Specifically monitoring your bedroom door or in your bedroom on you would be the best thing, with that backed up to the cloud. That way if you woke up, there was an operation that was taking place, you would be able to immediately have proof on that cloud live stream from your phone, and you could possibly catch on to what this is doing. That's such an extreme measure that most people don't do that, and unfortunately they know that, so they play off that. But if you did do that too, they'll start to do different operations and ways to go against that. But that's one thing that would be very difficult for them to counter. So you'd have a security camera, and hopefully you'd have all 4 sides of your house with security cameras with sound, okay? Because the sound is your best friend. Sound even within your house, so you have one out in the living room or somewhere near your bedroom, so if something at all goes out there, boom, while you're sleeping, you can hear that. That has to put them on edge and make them cautious to entering your home while you're sleeping, because now you have a way of exposing that. And with live stream and different things, and if you set up a network with other friends and things, let's say you live streamed right to one of your Facebook groups with different gang stalkers that are targeted and victims of this felony crimes against them. That way that video could go there, and hopefully they would download that right away and stuff. And you could have, if you wanted to, you could have buddy systems like that and have that in place. Let's see. I talked about that already. So, okay. If you have surveillance cameras set up, it needs to be used in conjunction with an alarm system with motion sensors. Motion sensors are your buddies. That's the best friend. If you got a bunch of motion sensors, the best of the best can't stop moving, But I'll tell you another thing too I forgot to write down. So my motion sensors that I'd have in my house, when they would enter the house, some of the motion sensors, there's different ways they could do it. They could put in batteries that are nearly dead, so the power of the motion sensor isn't as powerful. But for me, the motion sensor, they rendered it ineffective by actually putting something on the battery. There was like a little film on the battery, so the contact wasn't making contact with the battery correctly. So it looked like it was plugged in, looked like it was good. So what you're going to want to do to test that is you're going to want to put your alarm on alarm, and you're going to want to walk around at times to double check randomly to make sure that the motion sensor is working. And the motion sensors, you don't want them at a certain height, because there's certain ways you can go slow, because they have motion sensors that won't go off if you have dogs and things like that. So you want to have them at a different level, you want to have them in different areas, and you want to switch that up randomly so they cannot specifically target that as knowing specifically where the different motion sensors and things are to use. Make them work for their money. Let's see. And the sound with the video cameras too, like I said, that's going to be your best friend. So you have a TV on in your room, and you just hook a DVR up to it. So if you watch TV at night and you're enjoying yourself, throw it on the surveillance part when you go to bed with the sound on. So if you hear sounds, it'll wake you up and help you. And then in conjunction with the motion sensors and different things, you have layers of protection to help you. You know, if a sleeping agent or anything was introduced, you still have backups to the cloud and different things like this. So if the tactics are used to keep you asleep while they're doing certain things, there's still a chance that that might not be 100% effective. So that would be something that would hinder them. Let's see. There's a lot of protective layers. So even if let's see. To protect them while they're doing these things. We've already talked about that. When you're away and they compromise your system, they'll purposely set off motion sensors to make you think that's the way they're coming in. So for me, they'd set off motion sensors in certain areas. The majority of them, and some are that dumb, and some they will blatantly do that if they have to do something quick inside your house, get in and out, then they don't care. But a lot of times if they set off a sensor in one area, that's to make you think that that's where it's occurring, that's where they're entering, and it's not. It's always the opposite of that. So whatever they do it's like a magician. So the things they're doing, you can't figure out how they're doing, and then when you think it is, it's never going to be a clear-cut, easy way to do that. So you have to understand that and think outside the box. You know, remember, good gang stalkers are very experienced and they're very professional, okay? The little drug addict informants and community police, they don't use them in these other operations like this because a lot of times, you know, obviously somebody from the community or your family member, they're not going to go inside your house and mess with you while you're sleeping. Let's see. You know, they would delete my DVR. They'd do different things, blah, blah, blah. They do things professionally in a certain way that when you go to check the cameras, they've already been changed, deleted, compromised, etc. Or moved. You know, a lot of times mine were moved or they were broken or the DVR was just erased. Let's see. Let's see. And I was talking again about all the layers of protection from them being exposed. So like you call the police, hey, somebody came into my house and did this, and they did something, like I said, those little tiny things they do to mess with your head. Somebody broke into my house and, oh, they didn't steal anything, but they turned my stove on, you know, the burner on the stove to let me know I was in there. Well, you got cameras. Did you check the cameras? Yeah, but they were deleted. Well, what are we supposed to do? Are you sure you didn't accidentally leave that on? You know, your dog might have jumped up there and down. You know, that's what you're dealing with is the people doing this are intentionally intended to discredit you when they come to do it. So even if they write up a report, it's not going anywhere. Like I said, the things that I did write were showing some escalation where they're cutting up my steering wheel and my child is there as present with me and killing an animal, you know, things like that. To show the escalation and stuff and to have documentation. The motion sensors is where I've caught them the most times. I've awoken at night and knew somebody was there, ran to the back door, and they've already exited the door. The door wasn't fully closed and it was unlocked, and this has happened several times. And I'm going to talk about the cover noises they use because they do that during this also. The police and first responders will be used if the people weren't already hidden in your house and waiting for entry of the house. They need sound to cover their exit and entry. Here's the ways they do it. So some of the ways they do it is like my house, my bedroom was in an area where there was a driveway next to my house. That person there was somebody they talked to and slandered me and was being used against me. This house right directly next to me. So they would bring like a big diesel truck, you know, it almost rattles the windows and you're sitting inside the bedroom. That's the way they would enter it, used for entry or exit to cover sounds and do different things, whether it be within your garage or whatnot. During exit or entry, they'd use the sounds, like I said. And the other thing they'd use too is, you know, if they needed to warn somebody that was inside your house, they would honk the horn. So if you woke up, they were compromised, there would be a horn honk. These people would be still and hidden within that area. A cover noise would come. That would be the police would turn on their sirens. or a car with a booming system would come by, or a car with a super loud muffler, things like that. So it gives them enough time to not usually exit, but so they can go to the safe areas they know of the house to hide in until it's time for you to be in a full sleep where they can sneak back out of the house after they're compromised. Let's see. So always remember that, like if you wake up, you feel like something's wrong, you hear a police siren, you hear people honking and things like this, and you feel like somebody's there and stuff, you know, there's different ways that this is strategic. So understand these tools that I'm giving you. They also use, let's see, honking's always used in communication when you're out in parking lots and different things, and especially to gang stalk you. Car alarms, the same type of honking patterns, or if they lay on the horn for like 3 seconds, then the other people lay on the horn for 3 seconds, things like that. Surveillance equipment takes power source, so some has to have batteries and stuff when they're doing using different things that are like mobile, so it's not meant to be permanent surveillance on you. There's other things that can be right in the walls of your house and stuff, and it's very easy to get paint, to copy paint, to do different things. Very, very easy. This is nothing new. You're dealing with professionals, so think of how that would be occurring. So it would not be uncommon in any way to have a camera within a security camera. So within a security camera that you have, like a big indoor-outdoor camera, if it's a larger one especially, it's very easy for them to also add an additional camera within that camera. You can look at your cell phones and see how small the cameras are. They've got cameras that are just undetectable. I mean, these things are tiny. But a lot of things need a power source, and different ways things work. And that wouldn't be totally professional, but that would still be a way that the good majority of everybody being gang stalked, if they had a camera within a camera, wouldn't even realize that until a long, long time. And if they ever did, it'd be in a way that it'd be hard to explain, and you try and call the police, and the police are doing it, so there's a good chance that the camera you had will be there no longer. Or even if you report it and turn in the camera would disappear, things like that. So you're not going to catch it because it's professional, okay? You don't have like some lower level law enforcement that designed these programs. You got the smartest of the smart. Like I said, that cryptos that drives me nuts, because I will beat that sometime. But that coded system, like when they made that, people around the world can't beat that. Nobody can. Hold on, girl. So the thing is, you're dealing with people that design programs that are meant to make you look crazy and not meant to be exposed. So that's what you're up against. Zoe, stop. So she wants me to throw the ball for her. So I'm almost done. Let's see. So the power source and the probability of you not thinking there's a camera within a camera, that's the mindset, that's the thinking, that's the way you have to think outside the box. You have to think of things done as a magician would do them. These are professionals, and catching them will never be obvious unless they wanted you to catch those actions. So the actions are intended to be exposed where you think, oh, they're entering this way, then they're entering another way. Or they're doing this, I think I know how they're doing this. They're not that stupid. They're not going to allow you to think that way. So you just got to think outside the box. This isn't a perfect system, and like I said, you know, the ultra paranoid can set up a way, you know, but it's a shame anybody would ever have to do that. So even if you do that, they're going to hit you psychologically harder in different areas to go against that. Anyways, I had to throw the ball for my dog. So I'm almost done. These guys really need to get out to a dog park, but I don't feel good today. I have a cold. I want to get back in the gym because I'm trying to hit 400 pounds on my bench, and I'm very close, 385. So root for me on that. And pray for me also. I would appreciate that. So we're going to end. This is almost done. They're going to make you think entering your house one way and be entering the other. In my case, their favorite was entering from the upstairs and already being in the home or my garage, etc. When I would come home, you know, go to sleep at night, etc. In the garage, they can retrieve and replace surveillance equipment from your car. And in my case, they would also cut up the steering wheel at the same time at different random times and different things to do the psychological things against me and then follow me around and cut my steering wheel up no matter where I go or whatever state I go into. They just call ahead to their buddies. Hey, we got this car. They call the locksmith. He cuts them a key for the car. And then the people that are doing it here, they don't have to follow you up there. They can just call their buddies, you know. So it'd be pretty rare that they would actually go and set up way down there. They just use this program that's in all the sheriff's departments and the oversight of that and just continue it on and on and on. You know, so people have asked me, well, would you be safe if you went to another country? Not if they are executing the same type of program and they have buddies within the law enforcement, obviously, then it's not going to work. If they slander you and say you're somebody you're not, and to do this over in Canada, and Canada has the same program, you're going to be in trouble. So places that wouldn't put up with this would be like, let's say you went to Israel or you went to Russia or something especially. There's no way that this wouldn't happen over there. They don't play. Putin would put the kibosh to that right away. So what do you think Snowden's there? So anyways, it's always random and not patterned on purpose. So one time it's enter the house, the next time leave proof they were at your house. For me, they would put garbage out in front of the house. So every time I'd leave, even if I left for 2 minutes, they would have one of the people that are already located close to me, or a neighbor or somebody that's part of it and getting a couple bucks because they sell their souls for like monetary value all the time. They'll do anything for cash. So they, hey, you know, we want you to go do this. He's going to take off, blah, blah, blah. So it's real easy. It's already established. It's already set up, and you're not the only person. So it's not like they're living day and night to go after you. There's several. There's hundreds of thousands of people, if not more, that this is occurring to. And also with these programs, too, the effectiveness and stuff, don't think that they're not, you know, seeing how effective certain things are and working off of that and designing that and repositioning ways that they do things and stuff, because they are, you know, it's a very effective program and it's killing people. It's doing what it's intended to do, drive you nuts, make you look crazy, not be exposed, and, you know, tools for the law enforcement if they did have to work against people who really are high-risk people. You know, the only problem is it's been perverted, and the people behind it have perverted hearts, and they're very evil and sick people. So in Jesus' name, we are coming against this, and I'm calling on the Lord Jesus Christ to help us do that. I have a very big God. So, okay. And the neighbors and the other people, even family members and stuff like my own kids, they've involved in this, and the kids don't know that it's hurting me the way that it is. You know, I've just came out now to help everybody else, because when I was watching a video on a girl that came forward and was gang-stalked because she turned in cops for satanic ritual abuse and they were Freemasons, now she's being gang-stalked and having problems. So that's why I'm out here, and the Lord has led me to do this. So this is going to be very helpful. Copy this video, give it to your Facebook groups and other people, so if the video gets deleted or I get deleted, there's some proof out there, and this is helping people. So when people are out there and you're hurting, which you shouldn't be, but you are, and you're isolated and you feel alone, I want you to know I've gone through it and I'm going through the same thing. I'm here for you, I love you, and God loves you. Just quickly, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should never perish but have everlasting life. So I want you to know I'm going to fight with every bit of my life and breath to give this to you, the best information I can, to be there for you. I'm going to slow down on some videos now. I need to get back into my Bible and get focused on some ministry things that are important to me and helping other people with hurting souls and hearts, and to do my work as an evangelist, as a follower of Jesus Christ, and a Holy Spirit-filled, born-again Christian. I'm a Salvation Army soldier. I have nothing to do with the business of it. I'm not into any business, any part of it, other than I gave my life to Jesus Christ, made a covenant in front of the whole church that I'll serve the Lord Jesus Christ, my community, and everybody else out there, my neighbor, I will love as myself, and I'll do my best. My dogs are almost knocking over the camera, so anyways, I'm going to end this. I love you guys very much, and I'm here for you. I have the website up, gang-stalkingvictims.org, and very soon I've taken a mortgage on my house, so I'm going to get the proper tools and equipment and ways and network systems set up, so everybody out there that's a targeted individual, a gang-stalking victim, anybody that's dealing with abuse, that's hurting and feels hopeless and helpless, and that's out there. And also, we're going to do this in Jesus' name for the memory, for the people that have already given their lives to this sickness, this evil, this sick, demonic program that has killed people and is killing people. In their honor and in their name and out of respect, I will give my life and my ministry and my heart fully and committed to doing that. So I love you guys.